Penguin Random House Audio presents Passion Project, a novel, by London Sperry. Read for you by Alex Finke. Mom, the pigs are flying. Chapter 1. I've been betrayed by pasta carbonara. I sit back on my heels, trying not to tip over and smack my head on the bathroom wall, or, worse, the rim of the green ceramic toilet in front of me. Dean Martin's voice wafts through the speakers, an embarrassing reminder of where I am. The bathroom of a fast-casual Italian restaurant on the Lower East Side. And I just puked my guts out in their toilet like a frat boy. I wipe my chin and press the flush tab, wincing at the seasick feeling of the room rocking back and forth. I lied before. It's not really the pasta's fault. It was the wine. It was the 2.5 bottles of Chianti I slurped back like one of the Real Housewives. Who on earth told me I could afford that? One single glance at my bank account would make me vomit again, I'm sure. I squeeze my eyes closed and cradle my head in my hands. It's like my stomach knew to expel any evidence of tonight's disaster from my body. I'm assuming my date left hours ago. I don't really know. I've already blocked his number. We were supposed to meet at a cocktail bar across the street called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, where customers learn how to make personalized signature cocktails and sample them all night. Their Instagram advertises maple Manhattans with bourbon-soaked cherries, mezcal palomas with charred grapefruit wedges, and matcha martinis with mango honey. In other words, if you're like me and you have the anxiety of an entire therapy waiting room, it's the perfect spot for a first date. You can dodge eye contact and focus on the bartender/instructor, and then get drunk and forget about it in the morning. This was supposed to be a night 100% curated by my roommate and oldest friend, Sonia, and honestly, she has to get at least some of the blame for this shit show. Sonia planned everything. The guy, the location, the day, the time down to the minute, and even me. She gathered pictures from my social media accounts and slapped together something resembling a dating profile. I have to admit, when I looked at her finished product, I was impressed. On the screen, I look like a shiny 25-year-old, ready to take on life. Oh, how misleading. Henry had liked my 4th photo, which was a picture of me across the table from Sonia, taken on one of the nights I wasn't too depressed to let her drag me out to dinner. I'm grinning. A full, toothy smile. A comically large bowl of guacamole sits in front of me. I look happy. Liar. Sonia insisted that this was what I needed to get out of my slump. This was the guy. I didn't have the heart to tell her that there was no guy alive who would tempt me to fall in love. Not even if he was the Swedish boyfriend from Mamma Mia 2, or the British boyfriend from Mamma Mia 2, or the other British boyfriend from Mamma Mia 2. Not even then. Henry's not really my type, anyway. His profile was generic enough. One snap of him at a wedding with some friends, another rock climbing, a candid photo at the top of a mountain with a camera slung around his neck. I rolled my eyes when I saw that one. Outdoorsy, I am not. I could see from his pictures that he had messy walnut-brown hair and a smile that was friendly, if a bit cheeky. Cheeky in the smirky sense of the word. Not anything to do with his literal cheeks. His cheeks were normal. His eyes were forest green behind a pair of wire-rimmed glasses. I know this because Sonia zoomed in on his eyeballs and said, "Do you have any idea how rare real green eyes are, Bennet?" I agreed to go out with Henry because he seemed like a safe choice. It didn't appear we had much in common beyond being in the same city at the same time. But the wordy answers to the question prompts on his profile told me he would be able to carry a conversation even if I couldn't. The opportunity to smile and nod without the pressure to talk about myself goes a long way with me. Basically, he seemed nice. Nothing more, nothing less. I could tell by his profile that I was unlikely to be murdered by him, and even less likely to fall in love with him. Sonia hyped me up as much as she could. She dressed me, swiped makeup on my eyes, and sprayed a fancy-looking perfume on my neck as she blasted ABBA on her phone. When the time came, she pushed me out the door like she was pushing me out of an airplane without a parachute. She means well. I know she does. But is it too much to ask to be left alone? I'm not her project. I'm her roommate. And it turned out, my gut was right. I couldn't do it. When I dragged my sorry ass to the bar for the date, I froze. I stood there in front of the door, panicking as the street closed in on me. What if I'm not interesting? What if he's not interesting? What if I can't think of anything to say? What if he hates me? Or worse, what if he doesn't? I pressed my nose to the window, trying to catch a glimpse of him. If I could just see him, if I could just observe his mannerisms, maybe I wouldn't be so goddamn petrified. But all I saw were couples. Couples. Everywhere. Kissing cheeks, holding hands across tables, sipping their cocktails out of the same glass. I tried to picture myself as part of one of those couples. Tried to pretend it wouldn't be so wrong. I should have known then and there that my night would end with my head draped over the toilet because the bile was already beginning to rise. My body collapsed to the sidewalk, on top of chewed gum and cigarette butts. I couldn't muster up a deep breath or a coherent thought as the world shook and knocked itself off kilter. All I could do was tuck my knees to my chest and wait it out until my fingers stopped tingling and I could stand up without tipping over. New York didn't even stop. Didn't even bother to look at the girl with her head between her knees on the sidewalk. It must have been the least interesting thing any of the people who passed by me had seen today. I could almost hear their internal monologues as they walked by. Oh, wow. Someone's having a mental breakdown on the sidewalk? Business as usual. Carry on. There was no way I was going to meet Henry. I couldn't. So I slinked across the street to L'Italiano and sat at the bar to drink off the panic attack. He probably thinks I'm an asshole. He's probably right. Why is it always like this? Why can't I be normal? Normal people's dates end with a goodnight kiss, not a vomit carnival in the back of a nice restaurant. I should get myself together before they send a medic in here. My head thumps as I pull myself up off the tiled floor to stand in front of the marble sink. I'm surprised that instead of my reflection, I see a white brick wall with the word Bellissima written across it in black paint. The subtext of this message being, "Don't worry about what you look like. Go out. Enjoy life. Don't be vain." It's like those terrible coffee shops that don't have Wi-Fi because they want you to talk to other people instead of looking at your devices. Torture. With no mirror in sight, I roll my eyes and open the camera app on my phone. Bellissima my ass. My eyeliner has magically stayed in place, but there's only a thin line of sweaty eyeshadow left, tucked in the creases of my sockets. The layer of foundation I used to try to cover my freckles has all but disappeared, and my dark brown hair looks like it's been styled by a leaf blower. I keep it in a chin-length bob so I don't have to think about it. Most of the time, it works out fine. But today, I wish I could throw it up into a bun to air out the back of my damp neck. There's a small blob of something beige on the lapel of my shirt. Whether it's carbonara or puke, I may never know. I turn on the faucet and start to wash the grime from the bathroom floor off my hands. There's no soap in the dispenser. Of course. A loud knock on the door spikes my blood pressure. "Someone's in here," I croak. It feels like a medieval torture device is clamped onto my skull. I splash water on my face so I don't look so much like a drunk psychopath. Almost immediately, I regret it because there are no paper towels, just an electric hand dryer. A fat drop of water clings to my eyelashes. I dab it with the back of my sleeve, smearing what's left of my mascara. Another knock booms through the tiny bathroom. Does this person think I magically disappeared in here? 1 minute, I grunt. I pop a piece of gum into my mouth, wipe my eyes, and sling my bag over my shoulder. 3 deep breaths. Act normal. You can do this. Another knock, louder and more aggressive. Who does this asshole think they are? I said 1 minute, I snap as I crank the door handle. What don't you understand about that? I whip the door open to see a tall man standing in the way. He looks...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?